trying to build Theremins for the last couple of years, and just like anything else, it's got a lot of connections, and just one small solder joint can cause you all kinds of nightmares. So I got this one finished. Colin Payne actually was the designer, kind of the box and the project the last year actually, and got 3 of them built, and only got one of them working, and I got the other 2 getting closer on. But I thought I'd just show you a couple things about the Theremin. I've been trying to figure out the equations of what's going on in these things. So let me just tell you real briefly how the thing works. There are 2 oscillators, and they generate sine waves, and their oscillation frequency depends on some capacitance and inductance. So there's 2 oscillators on this end of the board, and this antenna is really the extension of the capacitance. So as I approach the antenna, I change the capacitance. Just slightly changes the resonant frequency. It's around 700 kilohertz or so. And then the 2 oscillators, there's a reference oscillator and this one, they're multiplied together. And if you remember from calculus, if you multiply 2 sine waves, you get the sum and difference of their frequencies. Well, this change in capacitance produces a very small change in a 700 kilohertz oscillator. There's another 700 kilohertz oscillator as a reference. Multiply the 2, you get the difference of the 2 frequencies. So that's what you're going to hear. You're going to hear, as I move here, I'll be changing this resonant frequency just by a few kilohertz maybe. And you can hear that sound as I go back and forth. Same idea over here. There's 2 oscillators, one reference, again about 700 kilohertz. Second one, also, this is an antenna. And same thing, as I approach the antenna, I'll change the frequency of that oscillator just a little bit, and then we'll multiply those 2. These are separated by about 10 kilohertz. That frequency is converted to a voltage, and that's a voltage that's used to control an amplifier. So it's a voltage-controlled amplifier that you're really playing with the volume of it. A lot of interesting electronics in between, a lot of 302, a lot of 402 stuff. Getting better, I can actually tune these things a little quicker. So let's see, this is Phil Sonati's. He cranked this volume up here. I can adjust the pitch from any distance that I want to. That gets within maybe 12 inches of the antenna. So let me turn this up a little bit, and then I can set that reference oscillator a little lower. So as I approach that, even lower. So you get more change in frequency as I go through that. Leave it right over there. And I'll let that make that noise. And then here's the antenna. Put my hand through it. This is where it's tuned, so that I'm literally turn the volume off. If you touch it, it's totally off. But this Theremin has its control right through the center of it. Other Theremins have control maybe 12 inches away. So I can control that and control this. Also has some outputs that you can send the voltage out, and you can use that to control something else. Control a thing called velocity, which is the rate at which you're moving towards the antenna. It gives the sound effects. You can adjust that a little bit. And there's a third one here, playing with the high frequency tones and clipping the waveform off, making a little square wave out of it versus a sine wave. So you get some different sound effects as you move these things around. I don't think I hear much from this one. You hear a little bit in there. A little softer, a little harsher. Shut the thing off. We did buy a Moog Theremin, and it came with a DVD on how to play one of these things, so we're hoping to get some people interested in actually playing it. Rochelle has tried it.
I want to play it.
Maybe you're going to move on to something else.
Start with an easier instrument.
Yeah, we need some musicians to play with this too.
Yeah.
So. Hopefully give a more detailed forum on a little bit of electronics that's inside of here. But anyway, this is the first one that we've got working. Of many attempts at building these things. So we built the first one, I think 2 years ago. This is the first working one, and we have 2 others that are pretty close. It's having a little trouble with a few of some of the oscillators just die off on me, and so this one had a minor solder joint problem, and found that everything worked out just fine. But the other one's getting close on. So if I just show you that we're getting close on these things, and I'd like to do some more work with this next fall with D-board's design and maybe the Moog one too. So, any questions about this one? That's a real brief overview of how this thing works. But. Yeah, we're just using one of our Champ amplifiers and then one of our speakers from Revolution Audio. Again, we built all this stuff and this one too, so it's fun things you get to play with. So. Any questions about how the thing works? That's just kind of an overview there.
All right.
Okay, super.
Thanks,
Thanks.
Dr. Wierzba.